I won't bug you with the mic. I'll just hold this.
That's okay.
I do have really just like 4 questions. So keep it simple because you spoke a lot today already. You know whenever you're ready.
Good to go.
All right. I'm not gonna have you tell me your name. You already know you are. Mayor Adler, are you happy with how things turned out tonight? I know you guys discussed a lot of amendments to these, both the proposals and then your proposal, and then of course the kitchen and Tovo proposal. But overall, are you happy with what you guys voted on tonight?
You know, I'm pleased tonight because we had to get past this in order to be able to do what we actually need to get done. You know, there weren't that many differences with the different proposals with respect to the ordinance. We were able to give the law enforcement some additional tools in order to be able to protect safety and health in the city. But the most important thing now is to pivot from the ordinances to actually put people in housing. That's the only thing ultimately that's going to work. It's how we end homelessness in this city, and I'm excited that now we get to focus on the real work.
I know Councilmember Ann Kitchen and Leslie Poole were both concerned, including Tovo, about clarity. Clarity was one of the keywords tonight because they felt that the ordinance as it stands right now does not provide enough clarity, including with the changes tonight. But do you feel that these changes help provide more clarity?
I think the changes we made provide additional clarity, but I also think the conversation that we had on the dais with the police chief will enable the police chief to give greater clarity. You know, our ordinances that we have passed give the police chief wide discretion to ensure that we are not endangering, that no one's allowed to endanger themselves or other people. The police chief has wide discretion to make sure that we're not blocking or impeding, that we're not aggressively confronting and threatening. And I think the conversation today demonstrated and discussed with the chief that he doesn't need the council micromanaging his work. He doesn't need the council to identify all the areas where that might be. The chief and his law enforcement personnel have the ability to do that under our existing ordinances.
Now, I know November 1st is his deadline with Governor Greg Abbott. Do you feel the changes that were made tonight will appease him so the state won't have to step in, or do you think that may still happen?
You know, I can't predict, you know, what the governor will or won't do. And certainly there's a lot of state assistance that would be really, really helpful for us. Cities across the state need a lot of help with mental health clinics and substance abuse clinics. We could really use the state's assistance. My hope is that the governor's not going to come into our city and just force people back into the dark places, back into the woods. And I know that makes it so we don't see it as much, but I don't think that's good for anybody, really. You know, the results that we got from the police chief today again pointed out that there's no data to suggest we have a public safety crisis or a public health crisis in our city. You know, the chief asked for tools that we did not give him that would have enabled him to arrest or ticket people that really weren't doing anything wrong, but so that he had the tools to make them move along. And what the council has said is, you know, we don't feel right being able to threaten someone who's not doing anything wrong with arrest or giving him a ticket. We shouldn't be jailing that person. We should be housing that person. That's on us. And as a community, that's how we both take care of ourselves and our public places. It's how we take care of our neighbors.
Just 2 more questions for you. I know a lot of people were a little bit disappointed that you guys didn't move forward with any more discussion about the overpasses, what's happening under them. I know obviously that was one of the items on the proposal for Kitchen and Tovo. Is that something you guys may take up in the future? Because I know the question was like whether it is safe or isn't safe for them to be there. Is that something you guys may get more clarity later on?
Well, we're actually really clear. I mean, there are some areas under overpasses that are not safe. They're traffic islands, and we have people living on medians, and it's not safe for them. And what the police chief said today to the council was he didn't need any more action from council in order for him to take action on those places under the overpasses where people aren't safe. You know, in the conversation with the chief and the manager, what they said was if it wasn't safe and it was imminently not safe, they're just going to go move people. Otherwise, they would try to house those folks But they have all the authority they need to deal with all the unsafe places where people can be under overpasses. Now there are some underpass areas that are actually quite safe for someone to be in. I mean, they're real flat areas away from the traffic. And the question is it better to have somebody there or have someone in the woods or at the end of a dark alley somewhere? And what I'm hearing from all the testimony is that it's better for people experiencing homelessness to be in those large flat areas under overpasses because they're receiving medical attention, they're receiving support, they're receiving things that will help them stabilize their lives, and they are safer because they're no longer being assaulted and preyed upon in dark places. Now, that's not a good place for them to be either, but it's better for them to be there than in the woods, but we don't want them there either, which means even those people, we have to move out of those places and put them into housing.
Okay, final question for you. I know this is kind of the first time you guys have approved changes since June. Could we expect any future meetings of any future changes, or you think you guys are done now?
I think that at this point we've given the police chief wide discretion with respect to our ordinances in order to keep us safe and to protect the public health in this city. I really hope that everybody now focuses on housing people. We've lost a little bit of time while we've been going back and forth on ordinances. We've actually been doing a fair amount, but not with the focus or having everybody putting their shoulder to that stone the way that we can do now that we're moving past the ordinances. I think it's important for this community to now pivot to actually doing the real work.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor Adler. Always a pleasure. Get some sleep. I know you've had a crazy long day, so I appreciate it.